garage. An indoor space for keeping cars. A business that repairs cars. Their new house has a double garage. The apartment building has an underground garage. He took his car to a local garage. They are building a new parking garage downtown. They demolished the detached garage to build a new one. They own a garage. He took his car to the garage to have the brakes checked. We need to replace the garage door. Her rent includes a garage space. They are having a garage sale this weekend. He is the garage owner. Is the car parked in the garage? I left the car at the garage this morning. Guarantee. An official promise. A promise that something will be done or happen. They offer a full guarantee on their products. She wants an absolute guarantee that this will be finished today. He gave me a personal guarantee that it will happen. There is a constitutional guarantee of free speech. This camera comes with a 1-year guarantee. They offered a lifetime guarantee. He provided an absolute guarantee. They demanded a personal guarantee. He got a money-back guarantee. These products have a lifetime guarantee against defects. They offer a money-back guarantee on their services. There is no guarantee of success.
Guarantee. To promise something, to make sure something happens. I absolutely guarantee you'll have a good time. I personally guarantee it will be fixed today. Americans are constitutionally guaranteed freedom of religion. He is almost guaranteed to fail. Admission is automatically guaranteed for those who meet certain qualifications. He guaranteed me confidentiality. Public workers are guaranteed a pension. They guarantee their workers equality. They guaranteed delivery today. Your rights are guaranteed under the law. Interns are guaranteed employment after graduation. Your future is not guaranteed.
Guest. A visitor. A person invited to an event. A customer. Someone making a special appearance on a show. We have an overnight guest this weekend. He's a welcome guest in our house. He was an uninvited guest at their wedding. We are waiting for an important guest to arrive. They welcomed their dinner guests with great music. He is a regular guest at the hotel. Parking is reserved for hotel guests. Our featured guest is the President of the United States. There will be a mystery guest on tonight's show. You are always a welcome guest. We have guests this weekend. I entertain many guests throughout the year. She is not receiving guests yet. They greeted the guests. You can bring a guest to the party. The guests are arriving. Nearly 100 guests attended the event. I need to clean the guest bedroom. We need to get a new guest bed. I stayed in the guest house. She is making a guest list. Please sign the guest book. He was a guest star on last week's episode. We have a guest speaker this week. The concert features a guest artist. She makes 1 or 2 guest appearances each year.
Hang. To attach something at the top and leave the bottom free. He was hanging upside down from the tree branch. A rope hangs down from the tree house. Her mom hangs the laundry loosely on the clothesline. Hang a sign from your door. Hang up your coat by the hood. I need to hang a curtain for privacy. I should hang the pictures today. They tried to hang the banner. We spent all day hanging wallpaper.
Height. The measurement of how tall someone or something is. Distance above land. The tree hasn't reached its full height yet. He is about average height for his age. These plants grow to a low height. The balloon reached a considerable height. The plant comes up to chest height. I need a ceiling height bookcase. We need to measure its height. The shelf has a height of 36 inches. These plants will grow to a height of 2 feet. We are trying to increase the height of the platform. You should adjust the height of your monitor. The kite is gaining height. The airplane climbed to a height of 35,000 feet.
Himself. Him and no one else. He got himself into trouble. He doesn't seem like himself today. He's been talking to himself again. He wants to do it by himself. He did it all by himself. He's mad at himself. He tried to control himself. He tried to kill himself. Hole. An opening that goes all the way through. A hollow place. There is a huge hole in the side of the building. They dug a deep hole for the foundation. There is a tiny hole in her sock. The door is full of drill holes. There is a drainage hole under the washing machine. They dug a hole to bury the treasure. She drilled holes in the wall. He wore a hole in his shoe. The missile blasted a hole in the building. The sparks burned a hole through my sleeve. We need to fill in this hole before someone gets hurt. The dog went down a hole. There's a huge hole in my favorite shirt. I can see light through a hole in the roof.
Hook. A curved piece of metal used to hang or catch things. I need to replace this coat hook. I put the worm on the fish hook. There's a pig hanging from the meat hook. Please hang your jacket on one of the hooks. The fish bit the hook.
Hook. To put something through a curved piece of metal used to hang or catch things. To catch. They finally hooked some trout. They hooked arms and walked into the party together. I hooked the pieces together to make a long necklace.
Hunt. The act of capturing or killing wild animals. The search for something. They are going on a bear hunt this weekend. There is a massive hunt underway for the killer. They are having a treasure hunt this weekend. He is on a job hunt. She will go on a deer hunt with them. Many people joined the hunt for the killer. They will begin the hunt for clues in the morning.
Hunt. To search for someone or something. To pursue for capturing and killing. The cat hunted for the mouse in the barn. The animal hunted its prey. The police hunted for the burglar. They are hunting wild animals. We are hunting ducks.
Implement. A tool, utensil, or another small piece of equipment. The gardening implements are in the garage. Keep all the sharp implements away from children. Make sure all surgical implements have been sterilized.
Implement. To put a plan into action. The new plan was not fully implemented. We must implement the plan immediately. The changes were successfully implemented. The changes were never actually implemented. We agreed to implement the new plan. The government failed to implement the proposed plan. Our company is implementing a new approach. The government is implementing a new initiative.
Initial. The first letter of a name or word. The two authors have the same initials. Everyone knows him by his initials. She carved her initials on the tree. The initials NY stand for New York. LA are the initials for Los Angeles.
Initial. First. Happening at the beginning or start. We are in the initial phases of the project. The initial chapters of the book are boring. Her initial reaction was anger. His initial response was no. Their initial feedback of the new restaurant was not good. The company never addressed my initial complaint.
Initial. To write or put initials on something. Please initial here. You need to initial every page of the contract. Please accept this agreement by initialing each page.
Intend. To have specific plan to do something. She fully intends to continue her education. He had originally intended to stay for 2 years. I never intended to hurt you. The training class is intended for all employees. What do you intend to do about this? I intend to run for president. I intend to find out what happened.
Introduce. To make someone's name known for the first time. To make use of something for the first time. I know who he is, but we haven't been formally introduced. She briefly introduced her boyfriend to her parents. They recently introduced a new product for cleaning tough stains. She is gradually introducing solid food to her baby. The term was first introduced in the early 1990s. Let me introduce myself. The city plans to introduce a new transportation system. She tried to introduce her ideas, but no one was listening. He introduced me as the new manager. My son introduced me to his friends. New technology is being introduced into our company. Congress is introducing a new bill. The company introduced a new organic product. He introduced many new ideas at the meeting. Ladder. Being the second of two things just mentioned. Last on the list, happening near the end of a period of time. The latter half of the football game was more entertaining. She enjoyed the latter stage of her life. I prefer the latter version of the two stories. If I had to choose, I would pick the latter offer of the two. Of the two products, the latter kind is more useful.
Layer. The thickness that lies over the surface of an area. His backyard was covered with a thick layer of snow. Everyone had to put on extra layers of clothing. The cushion is made with a single layer of padding. She covered the outer layer of the cake with chocolate. The protective layer was made with metal. Dust formed a thin layer on the unused table. The evidence was covered with a thick layer of dirt. Please apply an additional layer of paint. There are many layers under the surface of the skin. The cake was made in layers. I need to put on an extra layer of clothing. She made a layer of cake for her birthday party. Leadership. The power or ability to lead other people. Everyone praised him for his outstanding leadership. Weak leadership hurts the entire company. Political leadership requires certain skills. When he died, his son took over leadership of the company. In crisis, he shows strong leadership. Our current situation requires dynamic leadership. The struggling organization lacks clear leadership. He has great leadership qualities. No one wanted to take on the leadership role. We reviewed our leadership structure. We enjoyed working under his leadership. We need effective leadership from the managers.
Lecture. An educational talk given to an audience or a class. A serious talk given to someone who did something wrong. The professor gave a fascinating lecture today. We listened to the guest's lecture. Her parents gave her a long lecture about smoking. He delivered an excellent lecture today. I wanted to attend the lecture. She spent 5 hours preparing her lecture. She has a lecture in the morning. He got a lecture from his parents for skipping school. I will meet you at the lecture hall. She wanted to borrow my lecture notes. I saw him at the lecture. She walked out during his lecture. I listened to the lecture by Dr. Smith. He enjoyed the lecture about evolution. She received a stern lecture from her parents.
Lie. To be in a flat position. To say something that is not true. I'm going to lie down in the room. The boy just lay there, looking at me. He was lying comfortably on the bed. He constantly lies to everyone. She likes to lie on her back. She is lying in bed. She lies about her job. He lied to me.
Lie. A false statement. How could he tell such a big lie? That's an absolute lie. She told a little lie to her mother. That is a total lie. He tells so many lies. Don't believe his lies. They exposed her lies to the media. He lived a lie for 20 years. The police used a lie detector on the suspect.
Mall. A shopping center. Let's go to the mall. Teenagers like to hang out at the mall. We saw the thieves enter the mall. They are building a new mall downtown. We are going to a huge sale at the outlet mall. I hate crowded malls. We shop at a big mall. Mall stores close at 10 o'clock on weekdays. The mall parking lot is always full. I like eating at the mall food court. There are not enough mall security guards. We're going shopping at the mall.
Manager. Someone who runs a business or company. He is a restaurant manager. I work as a public relations manager. She is the new regional manager. I am the assistant manager here. The store hired a new manager. She was promoted to senior manager in less than a year. The manager was fired immediately. She is the manager for a well-known hotel chain.
Manner. Behavior. Way of acting. Please mind your manners. You should teach that kid some manners. She learned good manners from her parents. His manners changed when he saw his mother. Show me your good manners. He has terrible manners. We should approach this in an objective manner. She has a very mild manner. Is this his usual manner? She has a calm manner about her. Your child has good manners. Her table manners are awful. They acted in a friendly manner. He has a very kind manner. There is something in his manner that irritates people.
March. To walk in a military way. To walk quickly with firm steps. To walk in protest. The protesters marched forward. He marched ahead of us. The army marched toward the sea. The group marched over to us. They proudly marched in support of their friend. She quickly marched out of the meeting. The army marched through the streets. The army marched through the city. The soldiers marched against the enemy. Protesters marched on the Capitol. We marched for civil rights.
March. A large group of people walking in protest or support of something. Month between February and April. They held a peaceful march through the city. We joined in the march downtown. Police were called in to break up the violent march in the streets. It is already March. She led a victory march through the streets. We went on a long march to the nation's capital. The soldiers have been on the march for weeks. There were thousands of people at the march. There was a march against the government. They are planning a march for civil rights. They are planning a protest march of over 1,000 people. It's the first day of March.
Married. Having a husband or wife. We will get married in October. They stayed married even after the infidelity. She is a married woman. They are a married couple. He's a married man. How is married life? I was never legally married. She is newly married. He was previously married. She is married to a doctor. We were married for a decade.
Meeting. An arranged occasion when people come together to discuss things. We have a meeting tomorrow morning. We set up a meeting for next week. We went to a meeting this afternoon. The meeting finished late. The meeting just ended. They postponed the meeting. She is facilitating her first meeting. We need a meeting space. What is the meeting schedule for today? We attend monthly meetings. The meeting was long. We held an official meeting to discuss employee layoffs. He never attends the scheduled meetings. I will be in an all-day meeting. We are attending a general meeting. We had a meeting among the family members. I had a meeting with him yesterday. There was a meeting between the bosses. They are having a meeting about the incident.
Mention. To talk about something briefly. He forgot to mention he was coming. The report mentioned her name. Her name was mentioned many times. He rarely mentions his late wife. You've mentioned it already. I just mentioned it to them. He was mentioned in the press. I mentioned it to her. She smiles at the very mention of his name. She was mentioned as being a possible replacement.
Mention. Talk about. He received an honorable mention. He deserves mention for his many years of loyalty. He made mention of the event. They omitted any mention of him. She heard no mention of her name. There was a brief mention of him in the conversation. He got an honorable mention at the ceremony. At the mere mention of his name, I was afraid. There was no particular mention of them at the event. I smiled at the mention of it. Narrow, not wide, measuring at a short distance for one side to another side. The street is narrow. We took a narrow path to the waterfront. He walked through a narrow doorway. The sidewalk is very narrow. There is a narrow space ahead. We made a narrow escape. It was a narrow victory. She had narrow shoulders. There are narrow stripes on her shirt. I stood on a narrow ledge. The street is very narrow.
Narrow. Become less wide. The road narrowed ahead. We are narrowing the search. His eyes narrowed. Her eyes narrowed suspiciously. The path gradually narrowed. Her eyes narrowed with suspicion.
Nearby. Not far away. They visited a nearby town. We went to a nearby hotel. They lived on a nearby farm. Are there any nearby schools?
Nearby. At short distance away. Not far away. I live nearby. She attends school nearby. I work nearby. Is the school nearby? Are you nearby? We moved here because everything is nearby. What is nearby? Neither. Used before two words that are connected with nor to indicate none of the choices between two things. Neither chicken nor steak are available. They have neither red nor white wine at this restaurant. She said neither yes nor no. The answer is neither true nor false. It was a trick question. No one brought neither forks nor spoons on the camping trip.
Neither. Not either. Neither sister is willing to say sorry. Neither one is available at this store. Neither store carries this product anymore. Neither one of us cares about it. Neither TV is working right now.
Neither. Not either one. We have two television sets. Neither works. Neither of them cares anymore. Neither knows what the answer is. Both parents are busy doctors. Neither of them were able to make it to the recital.
Nose. The part of the face that is used for breathing and smelling things. She broke her nose. I have to blow my nose. My nose is running. I got a nose ring. He has a really big nose. He got a broken nose. She has a tiny nose. He has a bloody nose. Obviously. Clearly. In a way that is easy to see or understand. We obviously need more help. They obviously disagree. They obviously lack fun. They obviously adore their grandchildren. That answer is obviously incorrect. She is obviously confused about the situation. He is obviously delighted about having a baby.
Operation. The process of medically repairing a person's body by opening it up. An organized event that consists of many people doing different things. He ran the whole operation alone. He performed the operation yesterday. He needs an operation on his leg. He needs an emergency operation. They launched a rescue operation. Day-to-day operations are going smoothly. This is a delicate operation. He was awake during the operation. The operation on her heart went well. The business is still in operation. Parking. An area for leaving a vehicle for a certain period of time. It's hard to find street parking downtown. The airport offers convenient parking. His car was towed for illegal parking. The restaurant offers valet parking. We have to pay for hourly parking. I got a parking ticket last week. There are no parking spots available. We should park in the parking lot. We must purchase a parking pass. Don't forget to pay the parking meter. The parking brake is broken. There is parking available for 500 cars.
Partner. Someone you work with or are in a relationship with. I need to find a partner for the event. I am looking for a business partner. Can we switch partners? I finally married my lifelong partner. I bumped into my former partner at the party. We are romantic partners. We are equal partners in this endeavor. I hope you can be my dancing partner on Friday.
Perfectly. Completely without mistakes. I am perfectly able to handle the situation. He is perfectly aware of the situation. Have I made myself perfectly clear? Please do not worry about me. I am perfectly fine. The dog is perfectly harmless. To be perfectly honest, I do not like you. I am perfectly capable of carrying my own luggage. I feel perfectly safe here. Please stand perfectly still. She arranged the flowers perfectly. He behaves perfectly around strangers. She captured the moment perfectly on camera. She cooked the chicken perfectly. He timed the occasion perfectly. I understand your concerns perfectly.
Physically. About the body. He physically abused her. He physically destroyed the property. She had to physically separate them. Are you physically able to do this work? She is physically fit. My brother is physically handicapped. It is physically impossible to climb that mountain. The hike was physically strenuous.
Profile. A side view of someone's face. A description. The profile fits the criminal. She was asked to write a profile of the actor. The art class examines the profile of the model. She was told to keep a low profile. I helped my friends make an online profile. I read about her in a magazine profile. I saw his criminal profile. The doctors are studying his genetic profile. They drew the model in profile. I saw a police profile of the killer.
Proud. Feeling pleased or satisfied with your achievements or someone else's achievements. Having self-respect. I am so proud of you. His father feels so proud of him. He really made me proud. I am the proud father of 2 boys. We have a proud family tradition. He is the proud owner of a small business. We are very proud of you. She is proud of her son.
Recording. Sound or pictures stored so they can be listened to or watched again. He produced their first recording. We heard their live recording. The recording sounds excellent. He owns a recording company. She is a recording artist. I have a recording session. This is an excellent recording of his first performance. We have a detailed recording of their conversation. We listen to his latest recording. We listen to a recording by the new artist.
Relate. To make a connection. I am trying to relate to him, but it is not easy. I can relate to what he's saying. After she related her experience to me, I was shocked. I can closely relate to my students. I specifically relate to this age group. I can't relate to her at all.
Respect. Admiration. Polite consideration. She gained the respect she deserved. They lost all respect for him when he admitted to fraud. She commands respect from her peers. I was treated with respect. They have respect for the victim's privacy. She paid her respects to the family of the victim. We have mutual respect for each other. I have great respect for them. We have little respect for him. I met with him out of respect. With respect to your situation, I am not sure what to do. I have a lot of respect for him.
Respect. Admire someone or something deeply. She was deeply respected for her hard work. My uncle is a highly respected lawyer. UNICEF is internationally respected for the help they give to poor children.
Rice. A white or brown grain used for food. Our country grows a lot of rice. I steamed a cup of rice. I bought a rice cooker. We drank some rice wine. We ate rice pudding. He is carrying a bag of rice. He is a rice farmer. This is a grain of rice. He owns a rice paddy. I ate a bowl of white rice for dinner. She made fried rice for lunch. I got a bag of uncooked rice.
Routine. The regular way of doing things. A performance. I established a morning routine. I have a normal routine that I follow. He tried to break the routine. Do you know the daily routine? He performed the routine perfectly. I have a daily routine. I follow the same routine every day. We have a strict routine. I need a break from my normal routine. I have an exercise routine. We watched the dance routine.
Routine. Normal. Happening on a regular basis. This is just a routine visit. I have a routine procedure coming up. We did our routine patrol.
Sample. A small amount of something. James gave the customer a large sample. The water sample gave the scientists a clue. We used a small sample for our research. The sample was chosen by a man. The biologist took samples from the lake. All workers must give a urine sample. They needed to test the sample. The sample contains traces of bacteria. We looked at some sample colors before making a decision.
Sample. To try a small amount of something. Jane got to sample the dessert. She randomly sampled different types of dishes.
Schedule. A plan when things will be done. We revised our daily schedule at work. The class took a look at the course schedule. I have such a busy schedule. My schedule is flexible. Connor checked the bus schedule for the afternoon. She has a very full schedule. We need to design a schedule of activities for the summer. John keeps a tight schedule. Let me check my schedule. Everything is going according to schedule. We are 5 days behind schedule. Please allow time in your busy schedule for lunch. The other team is right on schedule.
Schedule. To plan something at a certain time. Her appointments are currently scheduled for Mondays. The weekly meeting was originally scheduled on Mondays. Her dentist appointment is scheduled for next week. She scheduled the appointment for next Thursday.
Settle. To end by reaching an agreement. I hope to settle the argument peacefully. We finally settled the matter. It will need to be settled eventually. They agreed to settle out of court. Don't settle for anything less. We finally settled on an apartment. Smell. To detect the odor of something with your nose. His clothes smelled strongly of smoke. I could almost smell the smoke a mile away. I can smell her perfume from far away. It smells like rotten cheese. The kitchen smelled of apple pie. The food smells good. I can smell the fumes from inside the house.
Smell. The act of smelling. Sense of smell. Odor. Scent. What is that funny smell? The lovely smell of roses filled the air. Curry has a distinct smell. The garbage can in the alley had an awful smell.
Somehow. In a way that is not certain or known. He was somehow responsible for the accident. She is somehow familiar with that family. He is somehow immune to getting colds. He somehow escaped from his kidnappers. He is somehow linked to the royal family. She somehow persuaded him to go to the party. The problem was somehow solved. She somehow managed to finish the project.
Spiritual. Relating to religion or religious belief. Having to do with the soul and not the physical body. My grandmother is very spiritual. She is a deeply spiritual person. The painting had an almost spiritual perspective. He had a spiritual awakening during college. What are your spiritual beliefs? We have a spiritual connection. I need spiritual discipline. We're going through a spiritual evolution.
Survey. A study or report collecting information on what a certain group of people think about something. Customers were asked to complete a brief survey about their shopping experience. An informal survey about children and television was conducted at school. Regular surveys are conducted on customer satisfaction. A local survey was conducted on the president's popularity. An independent survey was conducted on the issue of gun control. A customer satisfaction survey was conducted over the phone. She completed a survey on violence in video games. The survey reveals that teenage pregnancy is on the rise. The survey results are in. The survey participant must be over 21 years of age. The survey group consisted of all men. The survey questionnaire was long. The survey questions were not very clear. According to the survey, most people are unhappy at their current jobs. The questions in the survey were not clear. The survey was on religion in schools.
Survey. To look at the whole situation. To study a group of people and their responses to certain questions. They carefully surveyed the crime scene. The research group briefly surveyed customers exiting the store. She calmly surveyed the situation. He surveyed the accident from his car. The police carefully surveyed the crime scene.
Swimming. The act of moving through water using the arms and legs. He wears a swimming cap in the water. She is the swimming champion of her school. She is taking swimming lessons. We have a swimming pool in our backyard. He forgot his swimming suit. Swimming is my favorite activity. It was the swimming the children enjoyed most. Swimming is good exercise. All children need is a place for swimming.
Telephone. A device that sends communication by voice or sound to someone who is somewhere else, also known as a phone. Everyone uses a cellular telephone these days. Young kids have never seen a pay telephone. Rotary telephones are considered antiques. Please answer the telephone. He hung up the telephone. I am talking on the telephone. They installed a telephone line. I found her number in the telephone book. He conducted a telephone survey. The telephone charges were high. Can I reach you by telephone? Let's not discuss this over the telephone.
Telephone. To use a device to communicate by voice or sound to someone who is somewhere else. He quickly telephoned the police. She happily telephoned her mother on Mother's Day.
Tie. To join two pieces of string together in a knot or bow. Make sure you securely tie the ropes. Her shoelaces were loosely tied. He carefully tied his daughter's hair ribbons. She tied her hair back with a rubber band. He tied the rope around the tree.
Tie. A long fabric worn around the neck with a shirt. The same score at a game. He wore a bow tie to the party. It was a black tie event. He only wears silk ties. He straightened his tie before the interview. He wore a tie to work. The game ended in a tie. The referee called it a tie. She won the tiebreaker. It was a tie game. It was a tie between Spain and Germany. There was a tie for the gold medal.
Tip. To lean or fall over. To cause something to lean or fall over. To give extra money for good service. He clumsily tipped over the plant. She generously tipped the waiter. She tipped over the vase. He tipped the scale at 300 pounds. He tipped under the recommended amount.
Tip. Money for good service. A pointed end. A piece of advice. The president left a big tip. He received a small tip because of bad service. The needle has a sharp tip. The pencil tip is dull. Let me give you a helpful tip. One simple tip made the job easier. She gave the pizza delivery man a good tip. He left the waitress a big tip. I have some tips to help you work faster. Use these tips to get the job done. I can give you some tips. Servers rely on tips to make a living. She had to stand on the tips of her toes to see. Do you have any tips for me? Do you have some good tips on getting a better deal?
Transportation. The act of carrying people or things from one place to another. There is public transportation available throughout the city. It's hard to find reliable transportation these days. The movie star requested private transportation to the theater. Anyone can take public transportation. We will arrange transportation to the airport. The travel package provides transportation too. The transportation department is planning to build more streets. The transportation system needs updating. The city needs to improve transportation services. Without adequate transportation, we would have to walk everywhere.